Good morning and welcome to Unity of Greater Hartford. Someone say it back. Well, my name is Reverend Christine Boylan, and it is so wonderful to see all of you here in the sanctuary, and of course to know that there are many others watching on Facebook and on our website. Now, just a few ministerial announcements, okay? Tomorrow is Monday, February 27th, and tomorrow evening we begin our class on Zoom, The Trance of Scarcity. I love that. What a wonderful title. It's the title of a book, too. We're basing the whole class on this book called The Trance of Scarcity. And it's not too late to register, but we do ask that you register before your head hits the pillow tonight, all right? Do it before you go to bed. We live in this wonderful, beautiful physical world, and unfortunately, the messages we get are not always so positive. We often get messages that we're not enough in some way, that we're not smart enough, not wealthy enough, not good looking enough, not secure enough, not safe enough, just not enough. And so I'm sure, like myself, you all pray and meditate every day and do those wonderful, positive, life-affirming prayers. And yet, that crazy little roommate that lives up here in our brain keeps telling us this stuff that we go, no, and yet it keeps popping up. So how do we finally end that voice? Well, that's what this class is about. How to truly get yourself in that head space, that heart space, that soul space, where you truly know that you are not only enough, but you are more than enough. So if you would like to play with us in learning how to do that and finding your particular journey in doing that, join us in this class, The Trance of Scarcity. As I said, it starts tomorrow night on Zoom. And it really is an opportunity to not just intellectually know that you are the light in the world, but to truly embrace it as your truth, that you really do know, down to your toes, that you are the light in the world. So I would also encourage you to talk to any people who've taken this class before. So if anyone is here who has taken the class before and is open to talking about their experience, please stand. And then you can talk to these people and say, what did you think? Is it worthwhile? And they'll tell you. All right, so thank you. Thank you. So, here. Do any of you feel that Unity is your spiritual home? Anybody? Raise your hand. Cool. Great. Thank you. All right. Well, we would appreciate if you would consider helping us take care of our time and hospitality. And what I mean by that is to donate napkins and non-styrofoam coffee cups for our Sunday hospitality. And if you would consider bringing in white copy paper for the church office. We are a prosperous community because I see this in all of you and in everything we do, and because we have more green tea in our kitchen than we know what to do with. So we appreciate everyone who donated it, but please, no more green tea for a while, all right? Instead, bring in some napkins and some coffee cups and some copy paper. That would be great. Thank you so much for knowing that this is your spiritual home. And now, for those in the sanctuary, our greeters handed out a Sunday bulletin along with words to our song. And just a reminder that when you leave the sanctuary, please bring those papers with you as you leave and leave them in the basket between the two chairs in the sanctuary. If anybody did not get those, raise your hand, and I'm sure our greeters would love to bring them to you. Everybody get those handouts? Wonderful. Now, if you're watching online, whether Facebook or in our website, you can download that bulletin, just go to the website, unityhartford.org, and scroll down to the middle of the page on the left, and it'll say, click here. And it'll open up, and you can download it. And if you print it out, think about recycling. All right. So let us go to that Sunday bulletin, and we're going to go to our welcome affirmation so that we can together affirm what we know is true about unity. So please join me in that welcome affirmation together. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And here at Unity, we welcome, value, and include all people. So again, welcome to all of you this morning, those in the sanctuary, as well as those watching on our website. And of course, if you're watching on Facebook, you know what to do. Please please say hello, let your presence be known, send up those emojis. You're really the only ones who can talk throughout the entire service without someone shushing you. So take advantage of that and have fun with it. This is our last Sunday in February, and February, as many of you know, is Black History Month. It's a celebration of the countless contributions that Black Americans have made for the United States. So I thought it might be interesting, and we've been doing this for the last 2 or 3 sessions, to celebrate those Black Americans who had a positive impact in Connecticut. So I have 3 people to talk to you about today. And so one is a gentleman called William Larson, and little is known about his early life, but he became a remarkable Black entrepreneur who contributed to New Haven's civic growth in the first half of the 19th century. He was born free around 1785, perhaps in Derby, and Larson, along with other family members, moved to New Haven about 1803. Within the short space of 7 years, he'd become the city's principal wharf builder, an enterprise underwritten by his ownership, so already owned this, a large quarrying business. About a quarry, right? Quarry, am I saying that right? Quarry, okay, there we go. In 1810, Larson was the only contractor able to complete the complicated 1,350-foot extension to the town's Long Wharf. Soon afterwards, Larson established one of the leading hotels in New Haven on Chapel Street, with credit widely extended by the merchants, Congregationalists, and Federalists who formed the city's old white elite. He also purchased substantial acreage and houses in New Haven's largely undeveloped new township in the 1810s and 20s. He helped found the African United Ecclesiastical Society and was a driving force in the early economic and civic life of New Haven. So thank you, William Larson. The second person I want to talk to you about, her name is Margaret, and Margaret married James Morton in 1941, and the couple moved to Bridgeport. The Morgans had 4 children, and they established and ran Morton's Mortuary Funeral Home in Bridgeport's East End. Now, in the early 1970s, she and other East End residents had asked the city to install a stop sign at the site of frequent accidents. This request was rejected by the city, symptomatic of a growing chasm between the white city leaders and East End's Black residents. Well, the East Enders struck back, organizing to support Black candidates, and Margaret Morton ran and won a seat in the Connecticut House of Representatives in 1972. She was the first African-American woman elected to the General Assembly, and you might say that would be enough, but it wasn't. In 1980, Margaret decided to run for the state Senate after the incumbent, a very well-known attorney, told her that he would not be seeking a re-election, but only to go back in his word and run. However, they underestimated Margaret. Margaret beat the attorney by 8 votes in a primary election. Don't say your vote doesn't count. 8 votes. clearing the way for her to become the first African-American woman in Connecticut State Senate. She subsequently rose to the rank of Deputy President Pro Tem, a leadership role she held until she retired from the General Assembly in 1992. During her tenure, she championed causes to help impoverished people in the state's urban areas. She also oversaw the appointment of 2 African-American judges. In total, she served 4 terms as a state representative and 6 terms as a state senator. And, where am I? And, on the day she would have turned 88, Bridgeport City Hall's annex was renamed in her honor and at a ceremony befitting this incredible trailblazer. So thank you, Margaret Morton. One more. And this is not so much about a person, but a lot of people, right? For the 5 days in the summer of 1936, Bridgeport's Park Theater played host to one of the most innovative and talked about theater productions of that era. The Federal Theater Project's staging of Shakespeare's Macbeth with an all-black cast, as directed by Orson Welles and produced by John Houseman. Orson Welles was just 20 years old when he went to work on developing his idea of a version of Macbeth with the story shifted from 11th century Scotland to 19th century Haiti and featuring an all-black cast. After Bridgeport, it opened in New York City at Harlem's Lafayette Theater, where it ran for 10 weeks. Advance word about the production had been so great that a reported 10,000 people gathered outside of the Lafayette Theater on opening night. Macbeth played to enthusiastic audiences, sold-out houses, and mostly rave reviews during that 12-week engagement, and then it went around the circuit of the United States. A few of the actors in the huge cast were known at the time, while many were relative newcomers. Jack Carter, who was in the original Broadway production of Porgy in 1927, played Macbeth during the New York run, and Maurice Ellis played the role in the 5 performances in Bridgeport. Edna Thomas, who was living in Sandy Hook section of Newtown at the time, played Lady Macbeth. So I think we need to applaud this innovative theater and actors and directors and producers, especially today when we have our writers and voices later taking stage. So thank you. Okay, now I have to figure out where I am. I got us, all right. Well, that was fun. I hope you all learned a lot about people in Connecticut, Black Americans in Connecticut who have a rich history and tradition here. Now, as you know, our theme for 2023 is Flying in Faith, and our February affirmation is Flying in Faith. I am strong, courageous, and determined, faithful to the truth I know. And so as we now prepare for our opening prayer, I'd like to ask our worship assistant, Kate, to light the Christ candle. And as she does, take that into your heart. This is a reminder to all of us here in our sanctuary and at home that Christ light shines forever within each one of us. And so as we take that truth into our very being, let's come together and pray. This morning, I ask that you take the words that I speak into your heart as your very own words. Flying in faith, I am strong, courageous, and determined, faithful to the truth that I know. This morning, I embrace the truth that I am the Christ, that I am one with the divine, that I choose to be the very expression of the divine. This morning, I hold to the truth that all that is of God is of me, that I am love, that I am harmony, that I am strong, that I am powerful, that I am filled with wisdom and understanding. And so that no matter what I face today, I have all that I need to move forward, declaring my strength, my creativity, my faith. And so we take this truth of our oneness with the divine, of our inherent Christ powers, into a time of silence, a short, brief time of silence, as we embrace our truth. I breathe that I know that I am strong, courageous. I am filled with the creativity that is of the divine. I am filled with the love that is of the divine. And all things are possible, for I am one. As I embrace this truth, I am filled with a feeling of gratitude, grateful to know these truths and to know my truth. Thank you, sweet Spirit. And so it is. Amen. And so now I would like to welcome our choir. We have Wendy and Rob and Liston and Kathy and our wonderful music director, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Good morning, dear one.
Good morning, good morning.
Take it away.
So, I know, I don't even notice that I do that. I sing everything. All right, so this morning we're going to begin by singing together. You should have gotten some lyrics when you walked in, and we're going to do this side with more lyrics. The song is called Thank You for This Day. So please stand as you are able and join in singing with us. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My fabulous, my fabulous, my fabulous friends. My fabulous, my fabulous, my fabulous friends. Thank you for this world, Spirit, thank you for this world. Thank you for this world, Spirit, thank you for this world. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful world. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful world. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day.
Good morning. It's wonderful to see each and every one of you here in the sanctuary, and of course, all of you joining virtually. My name is Kate. I'm delighted to be your worship assistant today, and let me fill you in with what's happening on this wonderful day and this wonderful month here at Unity of Greater Hartford. You're lucky. Today at 12:30, the Writers and Voices will be presenting an event titled Illumination, Our Stories, Our Voices, right here in the sanctuary. And you have the opportunity to donate a love offering, and everyone is invited. And we have so many from our church. Our music director, Carolyn Fisher, will be providing some music, and the Writers and Voices participating are Liston Phila, Kathy Diggs, Alma Hamblin, Dalian Lugren, Jane Palzeri, Frances I'm really good at names, so if I chopped anything up, please forgive me. Frances McAlpine Sharp, Sue Smallage, and Deborah Wilson. I mean, that's a lot of people, huh? I mean, wow. And this sacred team is open to new people. So if you are interested in exploring your writing or using your voice in whatever manner, please see our own Liston. Could you stand, Liston? Thank you. He's been leading the way, and it's been amazing. All right. This past fall, we held a very successful silent art auction, and we have 12 pieces remaining in our community room. So today and next Sunday, March 5th, we are offering these donated frame art pieces for donation with cash or check. And like I said, it's in the community room, and each has a number on it. So just put your money, whatever the minimum bid is at least, in the envelope, seal it, and bring it to your car, all right? And all the proceeds will go to our operating fund. Finally, there will be a workshop on Saturday, March 18th, titled Power, Spirit, and Grace. That will be held by our own Deborah Giddings. And the workshop will be held here at Unity from 10 to 3. And it will help you understand how to consciously create your life's desires. How are we doing already for this year, huh? And deepen your connection to the divine wisdom. And she'll also give you some additional ways to release what no longer serves you for our highest good. You just need to pre-register online at unityhartford.org, and there are flyers in the atrium for more details. And finally, we love food. Next Sunday, March 5th, our potluck, we have a theme, soup and stew. We can handle that, right? And so we're hoping that you bring either or some additional sides, salads, whatever, even desserts. I mean, you can bring it at anything really. But soups and stew, if you have a specialty, please bring it. And we have Rob, you're going to bring some kind of cookie or something, right? I don't know. All right, so now it's our greeting time. So please remain in your pews for our Gandhi Blessing for Peace. And as you know, it's a call and response, so stand up if able. And let's just speak from our heart space, all of you here and virtually, and send this loving message out. So repeat after me. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your needs. Our wisdom flows from the highest source. And I salute that source in you. Let's work together for unity and peace. Amen. Amen. And you can have a seat. Please join me in affirming our statement of faith together. There is only one presence and one power active as the universe and as my life, God the good omnipotence. Amen. I get to read the daily word. This is what I do every morning. It just kind of sets my tone, even for like a meditation. Just read this, dive in, and it's amazing what comes out. Well, today, Sunday, February 26th, it's Let Go, Let God. And we affirm, I bravely release outworn behaviors and embrace my bright, brilliant future. And the message, holding on to what no longer serves me because it is familiar and I've grown accustomed to it may stall my growth. I evolve much more quickly when I trust my guidance and release old patterns and behaviors. In my heart, I know that when I move away from a dysfunctional relationship, a negative attitude, or unhealthy way of living, I move toward something greater: peace, safety, harmony, freedom, and fulfillment. I let go of anxiety or fear and open myself to happiness and security. I breathe in freedom. My heart becomes buoyant and my steps lighter. I set my intention today to release anything I have been fearful of letting go so that I can confidently move forward, open to infinite good. And the Bible verse for today is Matthew 18:18. Truly, I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you lose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, the daily word for today is let go and let God, and let's affirm today, I bravely release outworn behaviors and embrace my bright, brilliant future. And so it is. Amen. Reverend Christine, come on down.
Thank you, Kate. Will the ushers please come forward? And as they do, I want to remind everyone that your tithes and offerings and gifts certainly go to keep everything here running, and we can accept credit cards online, and here in the sanctuary we can take your gifts and tithes through checks or cash. Now, I'm doing something a little different today. Sorry, guys. Back in, I guess, November, we got a letter, and I want to read you this letter. It's from Reverend Tony Cryer, Unity on Cape Cod. Dear Reverend Christine and Board of Trustees, this tithe check comes as acknowledgement of your inspiration to me as a spiritual leader and to our Unity community on Cape Cod. I have initiated a campaign of support for the Unity centers in our area in hopes of creating awareness of our connectedness and spiritual interdependence. It is my hope that by tithing to our Unity neighbors, we build a stronger, more vibrant, and impactful spiritual movement in our greater region. You are now on our tithing list. I am encouraging other Unity centers to increase their awareness of their neighbors in the movement, and if they are inspired or spiritually fed in some way, to consider tithing to those organizations. I live by a universal truth that we rise by lifting up others. We acknowledge you have lifted our spirits in some way that has enhanced our spiritual growth. Thank you for your inspiration, infinite blessings, Reverend Tony Cryer and their board. Now, isn't that wonderful first? Okay, we need to thank you, Reverend Tony. Now, here in your church, we're a tithing church. So we regularly, once a month, we tithe. And we regularly tithe to Silent Unity, to Unity headquarters in Missouri, to the eastern region of Unity, to Unity Worldwide Ministries, and the seminary. So in response to this letter, we thought about it, and we've decided to add on once a month a different Unity church in our eastern region. So to date, we have tied to Unity in Harlem, Unity Center of New York City, Unity on Cape Cod, and Unity Center of Norwalk. And we will continue to do this. And every now and then, maybe I'll bring in a letter that we received from one of them and share that with you. So, know, please, that what you give, you're giving to your spiritual home, and that's wonderful. But giving multiplies. Do you get that? Giving with joy and love multiplies the gift. Your gift, yes, is here, and it keeps all of this going. But it also gets multiplied, and it goes out into the world. And it continues this wonderful spiritual law of giving and receiving. So I want you all to know that. Whatever you give will just keep giving. So thank you for your gifts that you give today. And as usual, I ask that in addition to your physical gift, that of course you hold in your heart when we give our blessing, but also to hold an intangible gift in your heart. A gift perhaps of letting go, a gift of peace or of joy or of harmony or creativity, whatever that gift that you would like to bestow onto your Unity community today, please hold that in your heart. And then let us together, and if I can find out where I am again, I keep losing my place this morning. I know. And so we together say our Unity blessing, knowing that the gift that we are giving is going to continue to give and to keep going. So, and I can't find where I am. Divine light. There we go. Let yourself certainly feel as blessed as you can, and to know that God is your one true source of all. And so we open up to that truth as together we say our blessing. Together. Divine love, flowing as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, all that I give and receive. And so it is. Amen.
So the song that I'm going to sing for our offering time is written for something called the Street Symphony Project that supports unhoused people in LA with music and community. Listen, 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 listen. Listen to the sound of your breathing. Listen to the waves it makes. Listen to your voice as you're singing. Listen to the space it takes. Listen to your heart as it's beating. Listen to the soul awakes. 'Cause one act of love I know for sure is to listen. Listen, listen, listen to the voices inside you, guiding you to being whole. Listen to the people who see you. They will help you hold your soul. Listen to the ones who oppose you. They can even play a role. 'Cause one act of love I know for sure is to listen. Time is fleeting. to listen again. Every act of love is a mirror, showing us our purest light. Every act of love is a pathway into one another's lives. Every act of love is essential to build a world that survives. And that first act of love, I know for sure, is to listen, 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 listen.
Ah, that was beautiful. First act of love for sure is to listen. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah. In this wonderful month of love, February, we dedicated the last 3 Sundays in February to love, or more specifically to discussing what the world needs now through love and kindness. And so on Sunday, February 12th, it was kindness through patience, and I've heard that a lot of you had some opportunities to experience patience. And last Sunday, it was kindness through non-attachment. And that topic also generated a lot of comments and questions. So I'm going to take a moment just to take a step back, and talk just a little bit more about non-attachment. Because it's not about dismissing your feelings or concerns. Rather, it's about being able to truly own your feelings and concerns, and then see where you go with them without deciding ahead of time what might happen. Oh, well, I don't want to say anything because, I may be wrong about my feelings, so I'm going to ignore my feelings. Or it's probably my fault anyway. Or if I do bring that up, they might get mad at me. So you see how you're not in the present, you're projecting into a future that you haven't even stepped into yet. Okay? So all this rumination and worry has you not being in the present moment. So let's say you do have this feeling that someone is upset with you, and try as you might, you can't figure it out. Good. Well, consider just talking to the person in a kind and loving way and asking, are we okay? And then just listen. And if you can, then guess what? If you can do that and be okay with whatever they say, whatever it looks like, then you are being kind through non-attachment. So non-attachment happens when we can get rid of the need to know what will happen, or the need to be in control of what is happening, or where we can let go of the insistence that a resolution be a certain way. So can you lovingly and kindly ask, and then truly just be open and receptive? Non-attachment is something that arises when we are truly present and not caught up in the automatic response of labeling things good or bad, better or worse. Non-attachment is about realizing that everything is always changing. And boy, we love that, don't we? Everything is always changing. And we allow ourselves and others to also change. We stop putting ourselves and everyone else in little boxes. And we allow everyone, including you, to learn, to grow, and to evolve. And so now on this Sunday, we come to kindness through listening. I hear from so many people that they just want to be heard. It's truly a deep desire for so many people to just be heard, for someone to listen. And it often is a point of arguments for many couples. I don't want an answer. I don't want you to fix this. I just want you to listen. I just want to be heard. I don't need anything fixed. Just hear me out. Let me explain. I don't know. Probably none of you have ever been in that position. I have a few times. And not listening or being a poor listener can easily damage any relationship, leaving the person who desires to be heard feeling even more unloved or not worthy. When we listen attentively to others, we make them feel valued, loved, and respected. Now, truthfully, how many of us would keep going to a doctor who didn't listen to us or only half listened? No, of course not. Because listening in and of itself is healing. Listening can demonstrate that we understand someone's feelings and needs without saying anything at all. Expansive or deep listening comes not from your mouth, but from your heart. True listening is a wonderful and beautiful act of kindness. The Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh, in an interview with Oprah Winfrey, said, "Deep listening is the kind of listening that can help relieve the suffering of another person. You can call it compassionate listening. You listen with only one purpose: to help him or her to empty their heart. Even if they say things that are full of wrong perceptions, full of bitterness, you are capable of continuing to listen with compassion, because you know that listening like that, you give that person a chance to suffer less. 1 hour like that can bring transformation and healing. Certainly, less suffering and more healing is truly something that the world needs now. Most people in Unity are naturally compassionate and empathetic people, and they're probably also good listeners. Many of us understand how to actively listen. I can see many of you as I talk on Sunday. You're nodding your head, you're smiling at me, you're even taking notes. And I feel like you truly are listening, even if you have simply mastered the technique of sleeping with your eyes wide open. I feel you're listening. So you might think that you already know how to listen compassionately. But I want to tell you about some of the ways in which we think we are listening, and yet it can feel like we're not. Listening is one of the first faculties that we develop in the womb, and it is the last faculty to shut down when we are dying. Listening requires attention, being present, openness, and silence. Listening can be holy work. A Sufi musician, W.A. Matthew, once said that listening is making an altar out of our ears. St. Benedict gave this advice: listen, my children, with the ear of your heart. And Quaker writer Douglas Steer calls it holy listening, a way to listen another's soul into life. And it may be almost the greatest service that any human being ever performs for another. So, listening is a spiritual skill that is life-giving. One of the things I read about listening is that often a person will ask us, what should I do about this? Do you have any advice on this? And of course, we're all too happy to give advice and tell them, what we think, our opinion. But most often, they really do not want to know what we think they should do or not do. Instead, they really just want to speak and have us listen. But think about it. It's rare for someone to come to you and say, can you please listen to me in silence? Doesn't really happen, right? So instead, we have all been conditioned to structure that listening request as a request for a solution or advice, when in reality, they just want their experience to be heard, listened to, understood, and cared about. And even if we don't use speech, we can interrupt the person who is asking us to listen in other ways. I was once told by a very wise minister that I should not hug someone when they are crying. I thought, how cruel. Someone is crying and I don't hug them? Why would that be? Well, he said that we often want to hug someone who is crying as a way to comfort them. Our intention is nice. But in actuality, it stops that person from crying and instead has them turn their focus to us. So he wanted to know, was I comforting them or attending to my own uncomfortableness? Well, that's for you to answer. There seems to be 4 listening situations where the listener finds it difficult to just listen in silence. It's hard to listen to someone we care about when they talk of a painful experience and not offer to help, to fix, to suggest, to even hug. Well, silence doesn't seem enough. It's also hard to listen to someone describe a problem that they think we are responsible for and not defend ourselves. Silence doesn't seem fair. It's also hard to listen to someone describe a problem for which we believe that they are to blame and have created, and not try to convince them of their responsibility. Silence might feel like enabling. And finally, to listen to someone who is going through something difficult that is exactly like a situation we went through. We long to tell them all about it, so tell them that we can relate. Let me tell you what I went through. They might just learn something from me or just know that I understand. Silence seems to be withholding and not making a real connection. And while it may feel as though we are being called to do more than offering our compassionate, silent listening, that is most often what is truly needed and helpful. Can we get out of their way, their unfolding journey, and have faith that God is with them and guiding them. And really, I ask you, are you going to do better than God? Through silent, attentive, compassionate listening, we can create a safe spot for someone to truly share, where they can feel loved, heard, and respected. True listening is being with. It's being with our being, our presence. Because our being, our very presence is far, far more powerful than anything we could say or do. Listening at its core is love. And that is what the world needs more of. So here are some suggestions from an article written by Nancy Collier. She's a licensed social worker. Because we all want to know, well, what do I do? Okay. So 1, focus your whole attention on the person sharing. Don't look at your cell phone, your screen, your food. Listen and focus on them. And to remember, silence is okay. The person sharing, maybe even you, may need time to process. Embrace silence. 3, you don't need to say what you're thinking. In this time of sharing and listening, be humble and listen. Perhaps later you might ask if they want your opinion or an idea that you have. And speak with your eyes. Look at the person as they talk. Look at them with love and kindness. Listen without judgment, especially before you've heard the whole story. When I hear somebody on TV that I just know I am not going to like what they're saying, well, I certainly jump up and start talking back to the TV before that person is even done. So I know how easy that is to go there. So, and even if you have listened to the full story, ask questions to clarify or make sure you've heard correctly. Ask questions without attachment and with patience. And finally, value them and their experiences. Every story someone tells doesn't have to relate to a story you've had in your own life. Not everything is about you. And even if your intention is to create a better connection, your similar story usually takes the attention off of the speaker and onto you, the listener. Oops. Just be a sounding board. Columnist Doug Larson wrote that wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would have preferred to talk. And in the Buddhist teaching, there is one called deep listening and loving speech. The core of this teaching is the belief that you cannot have loving speech without deep listening. And yet, we often underestimate the power of listening, of just being present, of just creating a safe and loving space for someone. Listening with our heart, we can create transformative possibilities. In the book of James, from the Bible, James chapter 1, verse 19, we read, "My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." This week, Try to truly listen in silence, to listen with your heart, to bring more love and kindness into the world through listening, for that is truly what the world needs now. Namaste. And so now we're all going to sing our Unity Peace Song. And as we do, I'm going to ask you all to move. Oh, see, you already know what to do. You want to move to the middle aisle. All right. And we're going to form one big oblong, which means that somebody in the back, thank you, Lee, you're exactly where you should be, is going to bring us together. And then somebody up here in the front will bring us together. And so we will together sing our Unity Peace Song, and that will be followed by Kate leading us through the prayer for protection, and then of course we'll have a final song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
All right, we're going to say the prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Feel free to take your seats. Take your seats. Thank you. I love seeing this circle again. Ooh. As we bring our service to a close, Reverend Christine will extinguish the Christ candle. Yet we know and affirm that the Christ light is always within us, and it can never be dimmed, for we are one with the divine.
Thank you, Kate. Well, thank you to everyone who helped make today's service possible. And special thanks to our prayer chaplains. They're holding us all in sacred prayer. And next Sunday, immediately after my talk, we will have our prayer chaplain dedication ceremony. So please make sure you're all here for that. That'll be wonderful. You'll get to join us in blessing our 8 prayer chaplains who, of course, bless us every day. And we have two prayer chaplains who will be here in the sanctuary to pray with you after the service. And if you would stand, there's Kat and Lynn are both here. Thank you, ladies. And so if you would like to have a one-on-one prayer experience, just go up to them and say, would you pray with me? And they'll take it from there. And also in the little area in front of where you're sitting, there are some papers. And one of them is a prayer card. Just if you would like to have the prayer chaplains hold you in prayer, you can fill out their prayer card. Thank you, Rob, for holding that up. And place that in the prayer box in the back of the sanctuary on your way out. It's on the table on your right. And if you're watching us online, all you need to do if you have a prayer request is send us an email. Send it to prayerrequest@unityhartford.org. And our prayer chaplains would be honored to pray with you. And of course, all the prayer requests are kept in confidence. Well, there are many others who help with today's service. And I want to thank especially our worship assistant, Kate. Thank you so much. Our live stream team, Julie and Richard and Tony, thank you. And our greeters, and that was Christine, I believe, and okay, I have it down wrong. Natalie, thank you, Natalie. And Joe? And Maria. Okay, who was with you, Natalie? Christine. Oh, I did have that one right. Okay, good. Whew. Christine and Natalie, thank you so much for greeting us all. And our ushers, we had, don't laugh at me, Maria. For our ushers, we had Wendy, okay, and Dawn, and our wonderful choir, Liston and Kathy, Rob, and Wendy. Thank you all. And I want to ask at this time if there's anybody here for the first time in our sanctuary. If you are, I invite you to just let yourself be known, raise your hand. Thank you, welcome. Christine is going to be, and one more up here. Yes, thank you for keeping your hand raised. Christine is handing you an information package. It has information about our church here and also about the Unity Worldwide movement. And of course, if you have any questions, and you might, we have questions about ourselves. So all you need to is to ask anyone who has a badge, or come and find me, and we'd be delighted to talk to you. We are honored by you being here today, with bringing the blessing that is you to us. And of course, if anyone is watching online and it's your first time, or perhaps you've been watching us several times and now you too have questions, and you would like to find out more, just send us an email. Send that email to officemgr@unityhartford.org. Include your mailing address, and we'll put that packet in the mail to you. And for our guest here today, and for everyone here today, please join us after today's service in the community room for some beverages and snacks. We'd love to get to talk to everyone and to listen to everyone today also. Now, before you leave the sanctuary, though, please feel invited to light a candle at our prayer candle table in the back corner. There's affirmation cards that you can use in a prayer and lighting the candle, and that affirmation card you're invited to take home with you and to use in your time of daily prayer practice. And also, as we're going to ask you to leave the sanctuary somewhat swiftly and quietly, so that those who would like to pray one-on-one with our prayer chaplains have the opportunity to do that. And of course, afterwards at 12:30, we'll have our writers and voices will have their showcase. Yes. And so now I'm going to thank our wonderful music director, Carolyn Fisher. Thank you, Carolyn. And what is our closing song today?
The closing song today is Give Yourself to Love. You have some lyrics. If you'd like to sing along, I would love it. I'm just going to sing it for you quickly. You must give yourself to love if love is what you're after. This gets really high, so you can sing it down low if you want. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Now, if you're not a soprano, you can open up your heart to. I just can't sing it that low. So, but you can. All right. Kind friends all gathered round. There's something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can't hide. You must give yourself to love if love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Walk these mountains in the rain. I've learned to love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. But like sunshine on a cloudy day, you stand before me now. You must give yourself to love if love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Love is born in fire. It's planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it gives you what you need. Love comes when you are ready. Love comes when you're afraid. It will be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. Give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. You must give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you to everyone for joining us today, both in person and online. And we hope you can join us today at 12:30 right here in the sanctuary for the Unity Writers and Voices Showcase titled Illumination, Our Stories, Our Voices. And please join us next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. right here in the church sanctuary or online. Have a week filled with love, kindness, and a lot of listening.
All welcome.